Golden State Take. It's Golden State Take.
Welcome to Golden State Take Podcast. My name is Yanni.
I'm Danny. We're brought to you by Super Grill in Pleasanton, California, the best teriyaki chicken in the Bay Area. I'm excited for today's episode. We
Bro, me too.
got the Giants and A's trending in very different directions. End of season for the Sharks and the Warriors. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we'll start with the A's 5-game win streak.
Yeah.
They took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, swept the Mets. So New York was good to the A's. What did you see from them in the last 2 series?
Yeah, last we talked, they were 1-5.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how the road ahead was looking pretty tough with the Astros and the Yankees and then the Mets. And they proceeded to take 2 out of 3 from the Astros. And like you said, 2 out of 3 from the Yankees and then sweep the Mets. I think the pitching has been great. They have a couple shutout wins here, and then they've also won some high scoring games. They've scored more than 10 runs several times. So I think they're just playing good baseball.
Yeah, I think that walk-off against Houston, because that was a very high-scoring game, and their hitting definitely bailed them out of that game. I think that they needed that win, especially from how the start of the season went.
Yeah.
And I think that win really made them take off. And their pitching has been definitely the bright spot. I mean, they have 3 shutouts in the last 5 games. 2 of those games, their bullpen hasn't given up a hit. So from top to bottom, they're really playing well.
Yeah.
Especially, and hitting was, we knew their hitting was going to be good, but going into the year, the biggest worry was going to be their pitching. So to see that happen and against good teams on the road, um, I'm excited for how these next couple series go, if they can take that momentum and keep it going.
Yeah.
But what have you seen from? I mean, we talked pitching for a little, but what have you seen mainly from like their pitchers as far as like why maybe they're having that success?
Well, I think their rotation, the guys at the top, Springs and Aaron Savali, have been great. They've really stepped up the last few outings. I think Savali's 2-0, ERA well under 2. Springs as well 2-0, and had a great outing the other day against the Yankees. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, I think. So really good pitching from the top of the rotation, and I think that's what they needed because, like when we were previewing the A's before the season, that's what we were concerned about. It's like, how are they going to get quality starts out of that rotation? But
Right.
they really haven't getting it.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too because when we looked at the beginning of the year, our assessment of the team was good young players that can really hit the ball, solid defensive play, but pitching was suspect. And I feel like the way this season has started has really been the opposite. Those star players, although they are playing better now,
Mm-hmm.
started off really slow and haven't been what we kind of expected them to be. And it's really been the bottom of the order
Yeah.
for them and their pitching staff that has kind of carried them to this point. And obviously, it's early in the year, so I expect things to balance out a little. But I've been super impressed with the bottom of the order with McNeil, who we'll talk about a little later. He was a great pickup for
Yeah.
this team. Cortez has played well, and Muncy specifically since the year started has just been a huge safety blanket. Either batting 6th or 7th in the order.
Yeah.
And so it's really been those guys that have, I think, I don't want to say carried the team offensively, but has played a huge part in their success offensively.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Building off of that, like Nick Kurtz is still looking for his first home run, and Jacob Wilson.
He just had his yesterday.
Oh yeah, his first.
Yeah,
home
they
yesterday.
won 1-0, and he hit a home run. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
a solo shot. So he finally got it, but
I see.
it was a long,
It was a slow
long
start
waiting.
for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, like getting production from those guys who are not the first names that you think of when you think of the A's lineup has been huge for them. And then hopefully yesterday is the start of good things to come for Kurtz, and that'll really jumpstart their lineup even more.
Well, and the thing with Kurtz, although again he started off terrible, I think he was like 1 for 19 or 1 for 20 his first 20 at bats this year. But he is putting some good swings together. He has 14. He's drawn 14 walks this year. So although
Wow.
if you look at his batting average, and it's not great, but his on base percentage is actually solid, and he's finding ways to get on. And so I do like that, especially from a young player who, starting off the year the way he did, could easily mentally go south pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so again, finding just ways to get on, although it's not 3-run home runs or deep doubles, in the gaps, whether it's just a single up the middle, a walk, he's finding ways to contribute.
Mhm.
And again, once the power starts coming, hopefully the home run yesterday maybe gets him going from there. I've seen a lot of confidence from such a young player. And I think Wilson is starting to get his offensive game going. Langoliers has taken
a step
a
back.
step back, but
Yeah,
obviously compared to the first week, I'm not surprised.
yeah, yeah,
But again, like I said, they're just getting contributions from up and down the lineup. And I again with the McNeil signing, obviously him going back to New York to play the Mets, he had a great series. But it seems like they needed that veteran presence where he's not going to be a 30 home run, you know, big time hitter for this team or somebody you build around, but just a steady presence. I feel like they needed that, and it's worked out well so far.
yeah. And we didn't mention Soderstrom, but he had a 2 homer night the other night as well.
Yeah, Soderstrom's been playing well
They got
too.
a lot of quality in the lineup for sure. I got some numbers on McNeil and Muncy. So McNeil, since the 1-5 start, is hitting 419, and Muncy, since the 1-5 start, is hitting 378. So those
And
are the two guys that have really been like getting it going for them in the lineup. It seems like.
yeah, and those guys are batting 6 and 7 right now. McNeil, I think
Yeah,
6, and Muncie's batting 7. So again, that's just crazy to me. And so obviously, again, probably not going to keep that production the entire year, but if they could play similar to that, and then you get the top half of the order starting to kick in that offense,
yeah,
this is not a lineup you want to face. And even if I mean, I'll take it a step further. I mean, I've liked Denzel Clark.
mhm.
He's been the ninth hitter or the batting ninth for them, but his play in center field, he has produced as of recently offensively. So again, not guys you're anticipating to have crazy years, but for what you're asking them to do and where they're hitting and the what they're asked to do. Again, it's just you want that from those guys, and they're playing very well right now.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I think it's a sign of a quality baseball team if you can win in multiple ways. And the
yeah,
fact that they've won some games 1-0 and they can win a low scoring game and they got the starting pitching and the bullpen to do that. But then also they've won some games like 12-11 against the Astros, in that first series. And being able to win both ways, I think is huge. And if they can keep playing ball like this, I think that 80 plus win projection that we were talking about going into the year starts to feel a lot more realistic.
and I know Rooker's going to be out for he's
Yeah,
on the 10 days. I
I
think
think I saw
about.
that.
I
Yeah.
mean, obviously he's a good player for them, but um, do you know of anyone who's going to like take his role or like fill in for him, or how do you see them handling him being out of lineup for a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, he's crucial to their lineup. So hopefully, hopefully it's just a short term thing and he's able to be back in 10 days. Yeah, not really sure.
Have you seen like Kotze though? What he's or have you? How would you assess Kotze so far this year? Because again, they got off to a rough start, but seems like things are definitely heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. I think they liked the results last year from Kotze, and I mean, sort of similar to like we were talking about the Giants last year, but like a team that starts, that poorly and is able to bounce back. We'll get more into how the Giants have kind of faltered more recently, but that speaks to the manager, I think, and it speaks to like the belief and trust that the team has in their manager. So that response from the A's, I think, speaks volumes about how Kotze is perceived in that locker room.
Yeah, he seems to. I mean, he used to play for the A's, so I do like that aspect of things, and he seems to just. I like the way he carries himself. He does seem like an old school manager.
Yeah.
So, and I think again, being that you have a young team, I think you need that. And
Mhm.
so I've liked the way he's handled this ball club. And then as far as players of the week, though, I personally have Jeff McNeil as my
Nice.
player of the week. Again, against the Mets, he was amazing. Defensively, made some insane plays. That one defensive play where it was a ground ball between first and second, and he like came up this way and
Oh yeah, I
swung his
saw
ball. That
that.
was
That was
insane.
a
So
sweet play.
defensively, he's been strong for them, and obviously what he's been doing in the box. So
Yeah.
that's been great. Also, another thing, I was looking this up too. Speaking of their defense, they only have 4 errors as a team this year, and
Wow.
that's some of the best in baseball right now. So defensively, they've had a clean slate for a long time or so far this year. So um,
Huh.
I think that does play a factor in some of their success right now and
Yeah, yeah,
how their pitchers are playing too.
for sure. I think I'll take one of those pitchers for my player of the week. There's a few options this year, this week. I mean, Savali, Springs, and then McNeil and Muncy, I think, are kind of the four to choose from. But I'll take Springs. I mean, I've kind of spoiled it earlier, but 6 innings, 2 hits, and no runs against the Yankees in a 1-0 victory. He's had some huge starts for the A's so far this year. So,
What was he like before before this year? Was he a pitcher that had a lot of success, or is
he,
this a pretty surprising thing right now?
I mean, how well he's pitching is a bit surprising, but I think he was their best pitcher last year. He was kind
Okay.
of the one guy that they could rely on for big stretches of the year last year. So I mean, you're seeing him take another step. Hopefully, he can keep this going and build off of this, and this can be a platform year for him. But yeah, it's nice to see some growth from a guy that they're counting on at the top of the rotation.
And I know it's super early, so I know maybe making a bold prediction right now is probably not the move. But like, do you see this team playing like this for a long period of time and actually maybe putting themselves in a wild card running and at least being in the position to maybe make the playoffs? Or do you think this is more of like fool's gold?
I'll go out on a limb. I think the A's are going to make the playoffs.
Oh
I
wow,
think they're a wild card team. I think they end up making the playoffs. There's a lot of quality in that lineup. And I mean, the pitching was my main concern, but I like what I've seen from Springs. Hopefully, Severino can get something going, and they can get a bit more from the rest of that rotation. But I think the American League wildcard race could be wide open, and I think the A's are a team that could take that next step. And I've been impressed by them.
yeah. Because so far, I mean, just looking at their division, I mean, everyone's neck and neck. Nobody's again. It's only been about 15, 16 games, but nobody has really put
Yeah,
themselves in the lead as far as how they've gotten off if they've gotten up to a good start or not. So everyone's been pretty similar so far.
yeah, for sure.
So you heard it here first, April 13th. Danny says the A's are going to make
I
the
think
play.
so. Yeah.
You don't think they'll win the division though? You think it'll be a wild card?
I think probably a wild card. I mean, they took 2 out of 3 from the Astros. I went to an Astros game in Houston in that opening series, and they looked pretty good. I would bet the Astros are going to win the AL West, and the A's are going to secure one of those 3 wild card
How
spots.
was that? Who did they play?
The Angels.
Was it that was your first time at the Astros?
I've
ballpark?
been. This is the second time. It was good. Like really passionate fan base. I mean, granted, it was opening weekend, so
Sure,
you would
yeah.
expect it to be a sellout. But fans who seemed really attuned to the game, who showed up on time, unlike Dodger fans who are rolling in 3 innings into the game. And also, the beer was cheaper, a lot cheaper than it is at a Giants game. So $12.99 beer at on draft at Astros games. So.
Speaking of that, we need to talk about the Sharks. The beer at the Quinn got a beer. My fiance got a drink at the Sharks game, and it was $35.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was insane.
Was it? What kind of beer was it?
I think it was a Modelo.
$35.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was insane. I was like, bro, what are we doing?
That's
the
crazy.
tickets are cheaper, so
I
gotta
mean,
be
yeah,
better.
I went to a Giants game, one of those Mets games, the game that they lost 9-0, and my buddy and I got 2 Pliny the Elders, and they were $55.
That's
So
insane.
it's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, Astros were good. So yeah, if
Yeah.
you want my prediction, I think the Astros win the AL West, and the A's end up with one of the wild card spots. So,
I'll take that.
yeah.
I mean, if they can make the playoffs, that's a huge jump from last year. So I would be happy for that.
Should we get into a mailbag question?
We do have a mailbag question.
This is
First
the
mailbag question.
First mailbag question of Golden State Take. This comes from Trevor in Scottsdale. And he asks, do you think shifting Kurtz to leadoff has been a key factor in his underwhelming production? Or is this just an overreaction?
So the craziest thing for that is if you would have asked me that like a week ago, I was confused why he started in the leadoff spot because again, historically you have a player that has a lot of power behind him. You want him generally batting in your third, fourth, fifth, somewhere in the middle of the
Yeah.
lineup. Get some guys who maybe have better, on base percentages or better hitting average. Have them get on it for him to have a chance to get them in. But with how the bottom of the order has been playing so far, it hasn't really been a huge factor. I mean,
True.
again, I don't think that's the reason he was struggling to hit the ball early on. Because again, the production you're getting from McNeil, the production you're getting from Muncy, Cortez, even Denzel, like you're getting really good production from the bottom half. So he is coming up to bat with players on base. Obviously, the first at bat of the game, obviously no, but I don't know. I think if you would ask me, I still would prefer him to maybe bat cleanup or bat third, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the reason his production is down right now. But
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's like the main reason for why his production's down. But I do wonder, like a player like that, how big of a factor is just that probably every team he's played on up to this point, he's like the 3 hitter, the 4 hitter. And like maybe just psychologically, the leadoff spot is a little bit different and could take some getting used to in the first week.
it definitely could. I mean, because again, especially with that first at bat, I mean, you're the first guy up, so you don't have you have no time to try to figure out a pitcher, see how he's looking early on in the game. I mean, you're kind of the uh, you're the tester basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the first guy up, so that definitely could be playing a factor. I am curious if they're going to change it. I'm surprised they actually haven't already. Kate is really letting things play out right now.
I think I saw he hit second the other night. I didn't see
yeah.
last night, but
So like, yeah, again, if I'm, I would prefer him batting third or fourth. But also, again, to play devil's advocate, he is getting on base. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to
14
mention
walks,
that.
so he is finding ways on, and so maybe that's a reason they haven't changed it yet, or they've kept it the way it is so far. But
Right.
um, also, I mean, do you think it's also just because of the success he had last year, they're pitching him differently, or again, rookie year, obviously it could go either way, but teams don't really have a good gauge on you, and so maybe now that there's film on him,
Oh, for
they see
sure.
his tendencies. You think that's also more of a factor in maybe a slow start?
I would say that is probably the main factor is that they have a book on him from last year now. They're made adjustments on how they're pitching to him, and now he's got to adjust back. And ultimately, for a young player, that's like kind of what the game is. It's have that initial success if you can, then they're going to adjust, and then can you make that adjustment to find ways to overcome that? So,
Yeah,
and I'm confident that he will because he's an extremely talented player.
he is, and again, I mentioned this already. I really like how confident he is as a player.
Yeah,
Again, it's super easy for a young player to have such a slow start and to mentally just get in your own head, and things start to unravel from there. But he's been really just staying the course, putting good at bats together, and we're starting to see that shift.
hmm
So that alone has made me a huge fan of him. And again, I think whether it's batting leadoff or batting somewhere else, he's going to figure it out. And
yeah,
so I'm not too worried about it. But great question from
yeah.
Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor.
All right, shifting gears to the Giants, we have our Giants insider George joining us today. George, what have you thought about the team so far this year?
It's a good point. Uh, yeah, I feel similarly to George about the
Yeah,
season so far.
I don't think he wants to talk about this team right now. They're
No,
they're terrible. I'm gonna go put them up.
sounds
Danny,
good.
take over real quick.
Careful with my boy.
I got him.
All right.
Oh, come on.
So yeah, the Giants 6-10 on the year. They just dropped a series to Baltimore. They won that first game behind a great outing by Landon Roop, and you thought maybe they're finally putting it together with 3 consecutive wins, starting to build some positive momentum. But it's been a frustrating team to watch, and they proceed to lose those next 2 games, and here they are at 6-10. So I think the main thing going wrong with this team is the offense. You're getting really no production from the back of the lineup, specifically Harrison Bader, Patrick Bailey, and I mean you could throw Jung Hoo Lee in there, throw Elliot Ramos in there, but it's been tough sledding offensively for the Giants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously heard what you were saying, but I mean, again, offensively, the production from the top of the order hasn't been there
Yeah.
consistently. Um, you look at your quote unquote star player Devers. Since the trade over from Boston, he has not been the player this team was hopeful for. Um, this team just fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, starting to feel that way for sure. I guess I'll start with a silver lining. I think they've had a couple guys in the rotation really throw the ball well. Robbie Ray and I mentioned Landon Root,
Yeah.
but those 2 guys I think are the one thing you can kind of hang your hat on so far as something positive coming from the start of the season. And that you got 2 guys behind Logan Webb. We'll talk about Webb later, but who have been reliable. And as long as they're healthy and as long as they can continue building off the start of the season, having 3 guys in the rotation like that you can count on. You can throw in Hauser and Molly as solid back end guys as well.
Yeah.
I think it's realistic to expect the rotation to keep you in games for throughout the season. It's just a matter of can the offense score enough runs to take advantage of that.
And they have been realistically. I mean, I haven't watched too many games where I'm saying the pitching is why they lost. I mean,
Yeah,
Webb hasn't probably played the way you hope for, but I don't think he's been pitching bad. I mean, he battles in there, and again with him, I would say in each of his 3 starts, it's been 1 or 2 innings that has gotten him, and
yeah.
where most of the production from whoever they're playing, they're he's had 1 or 2 rough innings, but the rest he's actually been solid.
Uh-huh.
I mean, would you agree with
Oh, I
that?
would agree for sure. Yeah, no, I think even if it's been a mixed bag from him in terms of results, he's done a good job of like settling into games and being competitive for sure. Let's just keep going.
No.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. No, but I think you do make a good point about Webb, and like even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he's a dog.
Yeah, dude, I'm just laughing at how shitty the Giants are.
Yeah.
This is painful.
But he's a workhorse for sure. Logan Webb, he finds a way to pitch through things, and even if it's a tough start, first couple innings, he he finds a way to get through 5, get through 6. So he hasn't been pitching up to his typical standard, but I think you can count on him to kind of put it together. I don't think Logan Webb is going to be a weak point for this team.
Yeah.
But no, definitely, I think what's holding this team back right now is the offense, like we talked about. But to give you some specific numbers on Bader and Bailey, Harrison Bader to start the year, 6 hits in 52 at bats, and Patrick Bailey to start the year, 6 hits in 41 at bats. So when you got two guys who are mainstays in your lineup, just giving you nothing at the back of the order, it's pretty tough to overcome. And throw in Jung Hoo Lee as well, who's hitting 185. They really need to get some more production there, or find some more production elsewhere in order to turn this thing around. Because right now it's feeling pretty bleak.
Well, yeah, and again, your top half isn't really doing much. I mean, they're hit or miss. Chapman's had a decent year. Arias has had a solid year so far, but Adames has been up and down. Devers, I mean, again, up and down.
Yeah,
So when your top of the order isn't doing very much, and your bottom order obviously can't hit anything,
yeah,
you're struggling to score runs. And I think that again, you don't want to overreact because we're only 16 games in, but at a certain point, it's like if you don't make some tweaks soon,
hmm
there's going to be too much ground you're going to need to cover. So, I
yeah.
mean, I think the biggest thing right now is the Bailey Susac.
I know. Yeah, let's get
I
into
don't know
it.
if you want to call it argument or debate or whatever, but to me, it's pretty obvious Susac should be the starting catcher for
Uh,
this team right now. I mean, what he's giving you offensively in a short sample size, and defensively, I think he's looked solid. He threw a couple guys out at
yeah, he's looked
second the
good
other
behind.
day. I mean, he's got a nice arm. So I mean, the thing with Bailey's is like I would understand. I would be more hesitant to take him out if he historically was a good hitter and maybe he's just in a slump to start the year. But he's in his fourth season with this team and he's never been a good hitter. I mean, the highest he's ever bat was 230,
Yeah,
which was a couple years ago. The last 3 years has consistently gone down. He's batting what 180 now, or
I think even lower, like 140,
I'm
140s. I think. Yeah,
yeah, like at a certain point he's not doing anything, and so I think that Susak's offensive ability will outweigh maybe some slight deficiencies defensively, which again, I don't want to make it sound like he's not a good catcher.
yeah,
I think he can do good enough. Maybe he's not at the level of Bailey yet, but to me, these are things that Vitello, especially as a young manager, to me, I think we're going to see if he's got it, if he, can be eventually considered a high level manager of situations like this and how he handles them.
yeah,
Because I think this is going to be his first main decision he's going to have to make soon, and I think Susac should be the starter. But
yeah. I mean, I think one point about Susak is that he was a first round pick for the A's a few
yeah,
years ago. So this is not just like some fringe career minor leaguer that's now suddenly having a small sample size
right,
breakthrough. But he really has a high ceiling, I think. And like you're saying, maybe he's not as elite of a defender as Bailey behind the plate, but he doesn't. He seems like he is a pretty solid defensive catcher as well. And he's when you're hitting the ball like he has so far, it's hard not to think that he should get some more playing time. I think from Vitello's perspective, you probably don't want to make a rash move so early in the season, especially as such a young manager. I think it kind of signals some panic, maybe, or a lack of confidence in your everyday guys. But I think it can't really go on much longer with this kind of production from Patrick Bailey without necessitating a move, especially if Susac keeps forcing the issue with the way he's been hitting.
I mean, but my only counter to that would be: is it considered a rash move to not start a catcher that can't hit? Like again, like I don't
Yeah,
think we're going to look back at this and say, even if it doesn't work, that, oh, he should have kept Bailey in the lineup. Because again, Bailey's not providing you anything. Like,
no,
yes, okay, it's important to have a good defensive catcher. He sees everything. You want to have somebody stable back there. I get that. But again, I don't think Susak's going to leave you wanting more defensively. He's a young player. So, yeah, he'll make some mistakes. But again, when you have a guy batting 140 in your lineup, like at a certain point you can't keep doing that because you're going to say, oh well, he's a pretty good defender. I
yeah,
mean, again, to me the good doesn't outweigh the bad in that sense. And again, you already have a lineup that is struggling to find offense and isn't finding offense.
yeah,
To me that's a move you have to make. And again, like I said, Bailey has never been a good hitter. It's
no,
not like this is something new. If that was the case, then I would say, okay, that would maybe be considered a rash move. But you're taking a guy out of your lineup that for the first 4 years of his career has not been a good hitter. So it's like,
Mhm.
what do you have to lose at that point?
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. I think maybe what we'll see or what we could see is like more of a timeshare between the two of them. Maybe
Yeah.
Susac will just gradually earn more and more playing time. It might not be a like Bailey's all of a sudden the primary backup catcher, but I think we could see that start to look a little bit more even in terms of playing time, and especially if the production we've seen from both of them continues, uh, I don't see why that wouldn't be the case.
My one question for you though, because this literally just popped in my mind now, because we talked about the pitching for the Giants and how you have Webb, Roop, Roop, right?
Yeah,
Roop
Landon, Roop, and Ray. Yeah.
and Ray. Those have been your three main pitchers right now. Do you think taking Bailey out would affect them, or do you think they're just pitching well no matter who's behind the plate? Because again, maybe that's the only thing I could see Vitello being a little cautious
Yeah,
about. But other than that, I don't see anything. But do you see that affecting your pitchers at some point?
I think that's an insightful question for sure. I don't know enough about like the relationship between Patrick Bailey and the other guys in the rotation,
Yeah,
but I know Patrick Bailey has a reputation around the league for being a really the best defensive catcher in the league. If not one of the best defensive catchers in the league. So I definitely could see pitchers kind of being more comfortable throwing to a guy like that. But like we said, like it's not like Susac looks like a slouch back there. It looks like he knows what he's doing as well and is a good defensive catcher. So I think there's if it continues, they will reach a point where you can no longer tolerate your starting catcher hitting 150 to 180 when you got a guy backing him up who's starting a lot for your offense when he is out there. So
right. And that seems like to be the only thing because Devers has been your DH right now this
yeah,
year, right? So obviously, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Devers, but you're not going to take him out of your
no,
lineup every night, every day. So again, there's not a DH role you could put Susac in to kind of have the best of both worlds. And you
no,
know, you're basically your only option is to do that. And I don't agree with the whole like, oh, we'll pinch hit him here and there. It's like to me, he's early on, although it's a small sample size, he has shown an ability to
yeah,
create offense. And until he doesn't do that anymore, or if that starts to go away,
yeah,
I mean, again, I don't think it's a big deal. You can always go back to Bailey. I think
true,
again, if you make the switch and Susac all of a sudden starts batting terribly, and you lose what you have defensively, not having Bailey in there, then to me
yeah.
you go back. But let's not get twisted. It's not like you're benching Buster Posey here.
No,
Like
no. It's a guy who's a great defensive catcher, but doesn't have a track record of hitting at the major league level. So, or really in the minors either. It's not like Patrick Bailey was ever a great hitting prospect. But I think one thing you mentioned, like the idea of using Susac as a pinch hitter. I think unless you have a third catcher on your roster, they're going to be hesitant to do that because if you burn your backup catcher as a pinch hitter, or if you use him as a DH, and then you have your two catchers in the lineup, then you're one injury, like one pitch off the hand or one pulled hamstring or
yeah,
whatever away from not having a backup option behind Bailey. Then if something happens to Bailey, you got to use your emergency catcher. So I think the only way they could do that is if they bring up a third catcher from AAA. It seems like Jesus Rodriguez has been hitting pretty well for the
yeah.
River Cats, and he's got some positional versatility. So maybe we could see them bringing up a third catcher, and that would give them more optionality with Susac. But I think for the time being, I don't think that's likely to happen.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I again, we'll see, but I think again, some point soon you're going to need to make a decision. And if
yeah,
you keep playing Bailey, I don't think you can expect anything other than what he's been giving you right now. The other thing I just with this team so far is the body language and the energy around the team. Again, I'm not there every day. I'm not in the locker room and in the dugout, but
yeah.
they just doesn't seem like they have a closeness to them or an energy around them that fits. Like even with the A's, even when the first couple series when they were really struggling, I don't know. It just seems like they mesh well together, and this team just this puzzle isn't fitting so far. I don't know if
Interesting.
you've seen that, but that's what I've seen this first 2 weeks. My
Yeah,
biggest takeaway.
I mean, there was that incident that Vitello alluded to in the first series, like the speech that he gave, that then maybe had some guys pressing a little bit, and then I think he also alluded to like several other incidents that have happened behind the scenes
Yeah,
that the media hasn't even been made aware of. So I don't know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. If stuff like if they're needing to kind of have these emotional speeches all the time, and there's all these incidents. I think it definitely suggests that there's something going on with the chemistry that maybe we're not fully aware of, and they're trying to do what they can to kind of kickstart things and get things going in the right direction. But I don't know. I think I agree with you.
Yeah, and so in that scenario, again, it just seems like there needs to be something to spark this team again. Whether it's taking Bailey out, whether it's bringing up Bryce Eldridge. I know you have
Yeah.
some prospect stats to go over, and obviously Bryce is the top of that list.
Yes.
How's he been doing in AAA?
Well, yeah, I got him here. So Bryce Eldridge in his first 50 at bats for the River Cats, 360 average, 492 on base. So it's been really good so far for Eldridge down there. I think we could see him sooner rather than later. A few other guys I want to spotlight. Gavin Keelan, he's a shortstop. He was their first round pick last year out of Tennessee, 13th overall. So he played for Vitello in college, which is interesting. He's in High A Eugene, and he's hitting 382, and his OPS is over 1,000. So really good start to the season, his first full professional season. Another guy I want to talk about, he's one of 3 high-profile international signings they've made recently. Johnny Level. They signed him out of Venezuela, and he's in Low A San Jose. He's got 14 hits in his first 27 at-bats. So a really good start for him. We can see him kind of move up through the system this year, I think. And the other 2 signings that I alluded to, Josuar Gonzalez and Luis Hernandez, they will debut in May, but they were also like near the top of the international class these last couple of years, and they're high ceiling guys with a good reputation, and I think who they're really excited about.
You think they're going to debut?
Sorry, they're going to debut professionally, but they'll probably debut in San Jose.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like 17, 18 years old.
Oh, okay. So, but like out of this whole list, Bryce is definitely the one guy that we can see make a jump to the
Yeah,
majors this and help the Giants this year, or should at least help the Giants this year.
yeah, they're top guys, they're top position players. I think he's the guy, and I mean, he's got a role for him available when he's ready at first base. I think they definitely, they're starting Devers there a little bit and Casey Schmidt, but for the long term, this is their solution at first base.
Do you think it's time?
I think it's getting to be time. I think it's hard to bring up a young player. He's still 19 or 20 years old.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, the offense is stalling, and we need you to be the guy to get us going. I think ideally you bring him up when maybe things are going a little bit better, and he's just kind of like adding on to that. But I think he's going to be up sooner rather than later. I mean, I could see him coming up maybe like May, June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, at some point you got to do something, and whether it's that or another tweak, but to me, just putting out the same lineups every day and just hoping for something to change,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to get this team very far. And I think again, all year, I think we're going to see kind of what we've seen the last 2 weeks, where we have some moments where things are looking bright, and then
Yep.
immediately down, and it's going to be a roller coaster, I think, for this team. And so
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
exactly,
Yeah.
So we got Warriors playing to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one last bit on the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
They're last in MLB in home runs.
Yeah. I did see that. They've had 8.
They have 8, and it's like with the way this lineup is constructed, I don't think that's what you were expecting. Like you were counting on this team to have some power. So hopefully they can get going. But it's been tough sledding. But yeah, let's talk.
Real quick.
Oh, yeah.
How did I forget? Player of the week. Who you have?
I'll take Landon Roop. Landon Roop had a great outing the other night. Six. I think he went 6+. In that opener against Baltimore, it gave him another really good outing in a crucial game, and they got the win. So I'll take Roop. He's been a stud in their rotation so far.
So this one is almost by default because I don't really feel great about it. I have Chapman as my player of the week.
Yeah, he's had some good games.
He has been hitting the ball well. He's definitely been probably their best hitter this past week. Obviously, we know what he gives you defensively. This year has been a little up and down for him defensively with the 3 errors he had.
Yeah.
But he's played solid, but I think this is also more so of how the team as a whole has played this past week.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that you can really take from this team those past couple series and say that somebody's dominated or done anything great. So
yeah,
mine's Chapman by default. Now let's shift to the Warriors playing against the Clippers.
Sounds good.
They played the Clippers yesterday. I'm not going to take anything from that game. Obviously, both teams were going to be very vanilla. It gave very much like an NFL preseason game against the team that they're going to play in the regular season.
Not wanting,
you don't want to give them too much. You just want to make sure everyone stays healthy.
For sure.
So that's what it gave for me. So I'm not going to take much. And also, it's kind of hard to take really anything about the Clippers against the games you played against them this year because they started off 6-21.
Yeah.
Things were looking terrible for this team. They make a couple trades. They trade Zubac. They trade Harden for Darius Garland to Cleveland. And so this is a whole different team than what the Warriors were facing beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game last night, or
I did. Yeah.
how do you look at the Clippers as a whole going into that game Wednesday?
I don't think it's a great matchup for us with the wing depth that they have for sure. It's going to be tough to get much going if Steph isn't playing up to how we know he can play in a big game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think for the Warriors to have a chance to not only win that game but to win 2 road games back to back, you're going to have Steph kind of channel a version of himself from a couple years ago. But I definitely think it's possible. I like that Steph has had kind of a stretch here to kind
play,
of settle
get
back
rhythm.
in,
Yeah.
before the all do or die games.
Yeah, because
So
not to interrupt you, but
no,
the
you're good.
first few games that he's been, because this is his third game back,
Yeah,
his shot looks great. Like offensively, he's putting up numbers, but there have been some plays, whether it's been like his pick and roll or some of his passes that have been off. He's gotten caught up in the air a few times, and so those are little things that you want him to iron out
yeah,
now versus again coming. And that they made it clear he wasn't going to do that, but these are things that happen when you haven't played in 2 months. So
yeah.
yeah,
One player I want to talk about, Brandon Podziemski. He has been. I mean, it wasn't a great game last night. I think he had 10 points on 3 of 10
Yeah.
shooting, but the stretch before that was excellent from him. He had 30 points a
career
few
high.
nights ago,
Yeah,
and I got numbers on him since the All Star break. Podziemski is averaging 16.8 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 4.2 assists. So, and on better efficiency than we've really seen from him in the past either. So I think this has been maybe the best stretch of basketball that he's played in his career. He really stepped up in the absence of some of those other big name guys to injury. I've been super impressed with Brandon Podziemski.
Yeah, and I'm happy to say that in the history of Golden State Take, Brandon Podziemski is the first current Bay Area athlete to know about this podcast that we have going on. I sat next to him at the Sharks game. Don't know if he's watched it yet. I sent it to him, but he is aware.
Yeah.
So things are looking up from here. Hopefully we can get him on the pod.
Yeah,
Pod's
yeah.
on the pod one day.
That'd be great.
But yeah, no, he's been playing probably his best. I think his best basketball of his career.
I think so, too.
This past couple weeks. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the injuries. The role has expanded for him,
Yeah.
and he's taking advantage. And the other thing with him is his efficiency, because again, a lot of guys in this league can put up high numbers, but you look at their shooting splits and percentages. But he's shooting the ball very efficiently. He's been the driving force of this offense since Steph has been out for most of the time.
Yeah.
Even with Kristaps, it's been him and Kristaps for, like I said, since Steph's been out. But
Yeah.
I like his game so far. He's definitely going to be needed if the Warriors have any chance in the playoffs or these play-ins. I do view him as your third scoring option behind Kristaps and Steph, obviously.
Yeah.
I know I said I'm not going to take too much from or take anything from the game. The one thing I will take is you saw how the Clippers are going to, I think, guard Steph. They started with Derrick Jones Jr. on him, who's obviously super athletic, tall, lengthy defender. I think they're going to put a lot of bodies on him and bigger guys. You have him, you have Kawhi, you have Mathurin, who is a offensive scorer off the bench for them. Obviously, you're going to probably not want Garland guarding Steph as much or any bigs, but like you said, they have a lot of wing depth, and I think they're going to really use that to their advantage to try to slow down Steph.
Right.
Understanding you're not going to completely take Steph out of the game, but you saw some things in yesterday's games where they seem comfortable with the other guys on the Warriors and forcing them to beat you.
Yeah.
And the only person out for the Warriors last night was Draymond, who is not going to change that defensive
No.
how they play defensively. You're going to let Draymond take those threes at the top of the key. And so I really see them trying to get physical with Steph, put different bodies on him, switch everything, double him out of the pick and roll, and again, force everyone else to beat you. So a guy like Podziemski is going to need to have
Yeah.
a great game. And there are other guys, DeSantos, Melton. These guys are going to have to hit shots
For
on
sure.
Wednesday.
No, yeah, with the amount of attention that Steph is going to get defensively, I think a difference in that game is definitely like, can your second and third scorers step up and have a great game? So definitely looking for Podziemski and Porzingis to have a great game. It's nice to have a healthy Porzingis going into the play-in. I mean, ultimately, this is what you traded for him for. So.
And finally, it seems like we haven't had this really since like 2018. this team actually has some size.
Yeah,
You know, even though Porzingis isn't a big guy, he's obviously super tall, a
yeah.
good rim protector. Horford's back. You obviously still have Draymond.
I want to talk about somebody. This is my player of the week, if you don't
Who?
mind. Charles Bassey.
Dude, I love
Is
Bassett.
that your player of the
He's
week
not my
too?
player of the week, but I've been really impressed with
I've been
what he's
super
got.
impressed with him, man. And yeah, like we really haven't had center depth in the past.
Yeah,
We felt short there for a while. So having him, I like how active he is on both sides of the ball.
yeah,
I think he's a pretty high IQ player, very physical player. He had 16 points last night. He had a great game in that first matchup against the Kings. I think he had like 14 and 13 or something
yeah,
like that. Had a great game against the Lakers as well. And he's officially the 15th guy on the roster. I think they determined
yeah.
that in the last couple of days. So he'll be on the play-in roster. It'll be interesting to see how he's used. But super impressed by him and happy for a player like that to get an opportunity and make the most of it.
Yeah, no, he's bounced around from a few teams, and we'll get in late in the offseason, like who should be back, what the roster should look like going into next year. But just speaking about the play-in, and if they win the play-ins, the playoffs, I think when you look at their three centers, if you take Draymond out of it, you have Porzingis, Horford, and Bassey. I think they complement each other well because obviously Bassey he's good around the rim, which I've
Mm,
been impressed with, but he's not a shooter. He's a finisher. He's not going to really produce anything offensively or create anything on his own.
yeah,
But you have Horford and Porzingis that can stretch the floor out and are more perimeter guys. Like Porzingis isn't a guy that is going to bang down low and play a physical style.
yeah,
Whereas I think Bassey can do that for you, and that's really what he's was brought here to do. That's his game. So I think having those three complement each other really well. So I've been really impressed with him this year in the 4 or 5 games he's been
yeah. He's
with
been
us.
great.
Um, I don't I don't anticipate him getting a ton of run. I think it just depends who they play.
Hmm.
Like after the Clippers, assuming they win, because the Clippers, you have Brooke Lopez, you have John Collins, but they don't really have a lot of bigs coming off the bench. Like Lopez is really their only center, and he's a perimeter guy. So I don't foresee him playing in this matchup
Hmm.
very much. I think they're going to really rely on Horford and Porzingis. But again, if things go well, we keep winning, and the season keeps going. I could see him playing, 5-10 minutes here and there, and being a
Being impactful.
physical,
Yeah,
being a physical. I actually think him and Draymond could really work well in the pick and roll with Draymond's passing ability and having a lob threat because
yeah,
I think this team's been missing that for a long time. They don't have a lob threat, and I think Bassey maybe can do that. Again, we'll get into like next year and everything, but
yeah,
he's been he's been really good this year. So I think it'll be a good game. Again, I think if I were to say what this game's going to come down to, it's going to come down to Warrior turnovers, like it always does.
yeah.
Bro, it pisses me off. Not to get sidetracked, but I can't stand when these announcers are saying like, "Oh, this team, they had to deal with, they have had a battle turnovers all year." I'm like, bro, this team has had a battle turnovers for like the last decade.
It's
The
so
only
true.
difference is the teams in the past were had enough talent to get away with
Overcome.
it. They could
Yeah,
overcome 20 turnovers. This team has never, in the Steve Kerr era, this team has never not been a high turnover team. Like
yeah,
this is no different. They're just now not good enough to overcome 25 turnovers in a game. So I think when we look back at the end of Wednesday, if they keep it to under 15, if they keep it around 10 to 14,
yeah,
I think they'll have a much better chance. And I think that's going to be the main thing we're going to look at the end. And then also, Kawhi is going to do his thing. Kawhi is going to get his points, but they have a couple other guys who are streaky on their team. And I think it's going to be a matter if those guys get going.
yeah,
John Collins has a big game. Matherin has a big game. Bogdanovich off the bench. So I think if you can limit the turnovers and limit their wild card guys that they have, and
yeah.
high energy guys who can go on. They can have a heater here and there. I think if you manage that, I think that's their path to winning on Wednesday.
So Ward, keys to the game are take care of the ball and have your second and third guy step up, and some of the other guys outside of step up and pick up some of the load.
For the Warriors and for
Both
the
teams,
and for
yeah,
the Clippers, because again, especially with the Warriors and the way they're structured, I don't see anyone being able to guard Kawhi at a high level outside of Draymond. Like
Mhm.
I don't feel comfortable having Santos or
No,
Melton or Pajemski on Kawhi. So I think Kawhi is going to have a big game. but it's going to be if Lopez hits 3 or 4 threes,
For
or if
sure.
John Collins has a big game inside and has finds himself in with a 17 and 10 game, or
Yeah.
Matherin has 18 off the bench because he's capable of it. That's going to be what kills you in this game. So hopefully they keep possession of the ball, get shots up. They obviously
Yeah.
gonna have to make threes, and they do that. I think they'll be fine.
So you think they got a good chance to not only win this game but to get out of the play-in?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm more worried about them, the
Hmm.
Clippers, than I am about Portland and Phoenix. In
Interesting.
my just based off, because again, you look at them being the ninth seed, but the fact that they were 6-21 and
Yeah.
they're even in this position, they've been playing really good basketball
For
the
a
last
long
50
stretch,
games of
yeah.
the year. I think Kawhi is probably this year the best player on those three teams.
Mhm.
Obviously, Booker's a really good player, but I still think Kawhi, when healthy, is a better player. So you have the star power with Kawhi, and again, a lot of wild cards on their team. So
Yeah.
I think if they get past the Clippers, I feel good about their chances of winning a second game.
Yeah.
But again, you gotta get by the Clippers.
Yeah.
First.
And the Blazers, while they've had a really nice year, they're a young team, and you would hope that the Warriors kind of experience and metal,
Yeah.
shows up in the big
And
moments of a
and
game like that.
yeah, and the Warriors have not had really great success against Portland this year.
No,
So
they have
I'll
not.
fully admit that. But I think come playing and being that it is a playoff game and really a game 7
Environment.
environment, I mean, it's win
Yeah.
or go home. I think that would benefit the Warriors,
For sure.
and they'll have an advantage there compared to Portland if Portland beats Phoenix, obviously. But if I were to, my prediction would be I think Phoenix wins that game, and I may be biased, but I think the Warriors are gonna beat the Clippers. So I think
Okay.
it's gonna be Phoenix and Warriors for
Well,
the final for the 8th spot.
I hope you're right.
That's my.
But if you're
Oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be Phoenix. Phoenix would get the 7th seed. I think Phoenix is gonna beat Portland, so it'd be the Warriors play Clippers, and then they'll play Portland
okay,
for the 8th spot. Sorry, I think Phoenix is gonna win the first game.
I
So
see.
they'll play
Gotcha.
Portland.
Well, if we can transition and kind of look ahead to next year a little bit, we got another mailbag question from Connor in Walnut Creek. He asks, given that the team is clearly not equipped for a deep playoff run, it's time to look forward to next season. What are some realistic expectations for the offseason? Is it time to big game hunt with the Butler Draymond contracts, or fill the margins with useful veterans and hope the existing core stays healthy?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
My opinion, as far as big game hunting, I was looking at some potential free agents or who is going to be a free agent next year, and the free agent list, unrestricted free agent list, is not great. You have LeBron at the top of the list, who the fact that again LeBron's great, but the fact that a 42-year-old or guy who's going to be 42 next year is at the top of the free agency list, I
Yeah.
think shows you it's a pretty weak year for that. Um, if we're talking about a guy like LeBron, because obviously I would consider that big game hunting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea, only because I've said repeatedly this team needs to focus on guys that are going to help you in the regular season so you can have a solid record at the end of the year so you're not playing in playing games. I mean, the Warriors, they have to have the most play. This is going to be their 5th playing game since the playing was a thing, and that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, like, they're consistently in this position, and bringing in a guy like LeBron literally doesn't change that. Like, the only players other than Steph, Draymond, and Horford that you're gonna monitor their minutes is LeBron.
That is true.
So it's like to me, bringing in LeBron, although yes, it will help you in some games come playoff time if everything goes well. Sure, a lot of things need to go well
Yeah.
for that. And then I was happy to see Butler at the game yesterday against the Clippers.
Off crutches, too.
Yeah, off crutches. So again, hopefully January would be the 1 year mark of the injury. So I would anticipate in that January, February. I don't think he'll come back early. That January, February time frame will probably be a time he comes back.
Yeah.
I think for next year, I think trade is going to be your more realistic chance to get a difference maker.
Hmm.
Whether that's, again, we can hope for Giannis. I don't know how that's going to work with the cap or the salary cap
Yeah.
difference and everything, but even if you can get a B tier player that can, last throughout a regular season and help you, I think that's going to be more beneficial for this team. And then hope you can get Jimmy Butler back to as close to 100% before the playoffs. I think that's going to be your more realistic chance.
I think so, but of all the big game that we're talking about, I do think LeBron is the most intriguing to me.
Oh,
Just
for sure, 100%. As a fan, it would be insane, but
for
like,
sure, but
yeah,
also like most realistic in terms of having mutual interest from the player to come play for the Warriors.
I
Because I
agree.
mean, LeBron's not looking too far beyond the next year, and Steph is trying to maximize this window. Also, you have the relationship between LeBron and Steph, like you saw when LeBron was in town the other night, like the love fest between
Yeah.
mostly from LeBron towards Steph, but
Oh, it
both
would be
ways.
insane.
A lot of mutual respect. And also Kerr coached him in the Olympics in
Yeah.
24. Obviously, the Draymond LeBron relationship is well documented. So as far as like high profile players who I think they have a realistic chance of acquiring, I feel like LeBron honestly is near the top of the list. So
Well, so then this is my again, this is my one worry about this because like if you could tell me if that happened, if you could tell me the Warriors will be a top 5 seed come playoff time and they're all healthy, sign me up.
yeah,
Awesome. But the reality is, you bring in LeBron. LeBron's going to play probably 50 games next year.
yep,
He even said every back to back is going to be a question because I'm 41 years old. He literally said that. So now add another year. Again, hopefully he stays healthy, but any injuries take longer to heal for a guy of his age and the amount of mileage he has. So
yeah,
you bring in a guy who's going to play 50 games. He's going to miss 30 plus games. You already have Steph that's going to be monitoring his knee. He literally said that in his interview that this is the new normal, something that they're going to need to maintenance him.
yeah,
Draymond, even though Draymond's played most games this year and has stayed relatively healthy, he's going to be a year older. You're going to want to watch his minutes. You're only getting Jimmy Butler for half the year. So it's like, again, even it sounds great on paper, but if these guys don't play, you're going to find yourself back to being in the play-in.
yeah.
So that's my main worry. Then my other question is, and this sounds stupid, but realistically, it's a question you have to answer. Does that mean you bring in Bronny? Because like LeBron did a bunch of work to get him on the Lakers.
Yeah, true.
Now, if LeBron leaves, is Bronny just going to be on the Lakers?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I would feel like maybe he just stays on the Lakers and tries to grow into some time in that rotation, but
Yeah,
it's tough.
my gut feeling though, I would be surprised, not shocked, but I would be surprised if LeBron left the Lakers. I think
Interesting.
he went to LA with the mindset of finishing his career in LA. He's got a lot of business things going on out there, and I
Yeah.
think there was a reason he went to LA. I'd be surprised if he left.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it'd be cool to talk about for sure. I just don't know
True.
how it would finish or how the reality of him being on the Warriors would help them win.
True.
But,
Well, pivotal offseason regardless, so we'll
yeah.
see.
So, but to answer that question though, I think it's more likely they make a B level trade, try to get a B caliber type player that can help this team, and you get Steph hopefully at 100%. You have Jimmy Butler hopefully at 100%, and try to make a run that way. I think that's the more realistic outcome from this offseason.
then to try to get a guy like LeBron or
Yeah,
Kawhi or
because and Kawhi's another guy. Same thing. Injuries. You're going to monitor him throughout the whole season. Again, Giannis, I would love, but I just don't see how the contracts are going to
yeah.
work with that because you would have to add Butler to that deal,
Hmm.
and Milwaukee trading Giannis is going to want young assets, not a
True.
36-year-old coming off an ACL. So, and you're obviously not trading Steph for Giannis, so like that defeats
Yeah,
the
it's
entire
true.
purpose. So like, I don't, as much as I hope that happens, I really don't see a way that happens.
Yeah, I think I
But
agree. Well,
yeah,
do you want to transition to the Sharks now?
yeah, Sharks
They've lost 3 in a
3 in a
row,
row.
4 of the last 5. That loss the other night to the Canucks in a shootout was a backbreaker, and they're not statistically eliminated yet, but they're on the brink of elimination. So
I think they had like a 5% chance going into that
okay,
Canucks game, and then they did get a point because they lost in the shootout. But losing, I would imagine their percentages are like 2-3 points. So we'll just say they're done.
okay,
They're not making the playoffs. And to be honest, I don't think they really deserve it at this point. I
hmm
mean, I'm super happy with overall how this year went, and I couldn't be happier with the how Macklin has
yeah,
grown into stardom, and he's an elite player, and the other young guys. But the last 3 games, and I was at the Edmonton game. That was the first game of this um
McDavid just killed them.
yeah this losing streak. I mean, McDavid was single-handedly took over. And again, I wasn't even like upset with that game because we haven't had good success against Edmonton for a long time. And even this year, we've struggled against them. So even though they weren't fully healthy, I was not surprised we lost. It was the Anaheim game and the Canucks game that really was disappointing. Anaheim, again, losing to Edmonton, every point is critical. You need to win these games. And to lose to Anaheim and not only lose, but to lose in that fashion where you get dominated from start to finish
Yeah.
and really looked like they didn't even care. Like this reminded me of how the games looked last year in April when everyone knew the season was over.
Yeah.
Like they got dominated from head to toe. It was one of the worst games I thought of the season, considering what was at stake. And then to follow that up with your fan appreciation night, last home game of the year against the worst team. The Canucks have the same record as the Sharks did last year at this time. They've lost 9 of 10,
You
and
can't get it done.
not only you lose, I don't think you play terrible, but you lose. You give up 41 shots on goal to the worst team in the league. Like to me, that doesn't scream like you don't deserve it at that point to make the playoffs. So again, it is what it is. We have 3 more games left. I'm excited to watch them, but I'm not. The future's still bright for this team.
I think so, for sure. So, I mean, you would still evaluate this season as a huge success.
100%. Again, the fact that we were even talking playoffs this late.
Yeah.
I was always saying, like, if we can be in a playoff hunt by the new year, I would take it. So the fact that we got it in April, I'm super stoked. But this week showed that they're just not there yet. They need one more year. Now, next year, I'm fully on the playoff hype train. Like, I am one of those people that do believe if they don't make the playoffs next year, that would be a disappointment.
Well, getting into that a little bit, maybe a silver lining from them dropping a few games here at the end of the year is draft lottery positioning. I think they're close to like a 10% chance combined to get either the first or second pick right now.
Yeah, so I have the lottery as of Monday, April 13th. They have the 9th best odds, so they would have the 9th pick right now if the lottery stayed the way everything is now. The Sharks have 82 points, and then the 2 teams behind them, Winnipeg also has 82 points. That's going to be a big game because the Sharks play Winnipeg the last game of the year. So in a way, the Sharks probably want to lose that game.
Do teams tank in hockey the same way they do in other sports? They do
for sure. I mean, just like with other sports, they're not going to come out and just say we're tanking, but there's certain moves you make, and I'll get into
like
that.
Like they'll sit Celebrini that game if they.
Oh no, they won't sit Celebrini, but especially because Celebrini's got the record to go after.
How many games left? 2 games left. 3 games left. Okay.
Yeah, so they have 82 points. Realistically, there is a chance in the 8 spots. The St. Louis Blues, they have 80 points. The Panthers are in the 7th spot with 80 points, and then Seattle and Toronto are in the 5th and 6th with 78 and 79. So
wow.
Theoretically, if everything went right, again, odds are not strong. Most likely, they're going to stay in the 8 to 10 spot.
Yeah,
they could find their way up in the 6th or 7th spot.
Wow.
Seed, which would be, or not seed, but 6th or 7th worst records in the league, which would be crazy to go from competing for a playoff spot to now all of a sudden finding yourself with another top 7 or 8 pick in the draft, like getting another good young prospect. That would be very interesting. And that would be that's really the best of both worlds. But to go off of like what you said, will teams, tank? The Sharks just called up Luca Cagnoni from the Barracuda, who's a defenseman. And they also, it looks, I don't know if he's going to play, but Eric Polkamp, who just won the national championship with Denver, who's another defenseman for this team, he may go down to the Barracuda, the AHL, for their playoff run. I don't think they'll bring him up for the final 3 games, but those are 2 guys that are going to gain more experience these last 3 games. Cagnoni played 6 games last year with the Sharks. He's played 2 years in the Barracuda. He's on the verge, I think, of making that jump. His biggest thing, and he was a 4th-round pick, and the reason why is because he's small. He's a 5'9" offensive defenseman, and the reason he won 4th overall is because he's 5'9".
And they have a second first-round pick this year too, right?
Yeah, they have Edmonton. We'll see. Right. Edmonton's going to make the playoffs, so we'll see where that, depending on when they get eliminated or if they win it all, we'll see where that falls. But
pretty exciting that they have such a great young core, and then now you're going to have another top 10 pick, hopefully closer to the top,
Yeah,
top of that top 10, and then also a late first round pick as well that you can either use or maybe look to use on the trade market. It's pretty exciting.
right. And I think like with Luca Cagnoni, again, his biggest thing is just size. I mean, if he was 6'1", 6'2",
Yeah.
he probably would already be in the NHL right now. But
Mm,
fortunately, he's 5'9". So I want to see how he plays these next 3 games. See how he handles himself. If he shows any improvements. The
yep.
other thing I do want to talk about is with the goaltending because we didn't get to that last week. Goaltending is going to be a big thing I'm looking at next year. I thought goaltending overall was okay this year, definitely up and down.
Hmm.
Uh, Finally, though, you'll know who your two goalies are going to be for sure going in next year. You
Right.
won't have another cycle of new uh, new goalies coming in. Ashcroft's obviously your top young um, goalie who is going to be the future, but he's been up and down this year. He's an adventure every time he's on the ice.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to see him become a lot more predictable. I would say
Just
um,
more steady.
more steady. Nedeljkovic is the complete opposite. Nedeljkovic is very steady, but the thing with Askarov is he'll make these saves, and you're like, okay, there's a handful of guys in the NHL that are capable of doing that. Like his lower body, his side to side movements, already some of the best in the league.
Yeah.
But then he has instances where whether it's handling the puck or a shot from the outside, that's something he should save. I don't know if it's um, his I don't know if he loses concentration of it, but those are the plays that he needs to work on and just become more steady. Because as a goalie, that's something that's very important.
Yeah.
If you're not knowing which goalie you're going to get start to start, it's very hard to rely on them, especially come playoff time. So that's going to be a huge
Yeah.
thing going into next year because he's got all the tools and potential, but he's going to have to be more consistent with it for sure.
Yeah, and I think improving the defense will help that as well. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
41 shots on goal the other night. Not doing a young goalie any favors.
Yeah.
Um,
And like that game was a perfect example of Askarov because he played well.
mhm.
Like if you look at his numbers and everything, he made some nice saves. But on their first goal, he misreads a puck off the boards. He comes out of the net, it ricochets off the back end wall, back out the other side, and it's an open net
Mm,
tap in goal because he misread it. It's like certain things like that where you're just like, dude, you're making all the right big saves, all these highlight reel saves, and then you let something like that happen. It's
interesting.
just that again, defense I'm sure will help, but um, that's going to also dictate, I think, a lot of their success next year is goaltending. So 3 games left. Biggest takeaways we need to see, I would say, lose. Try to strengthen your playoff spot or the lottery odds the best you can.
Yeah.
Celebrini needs 4 points to tie Thornton's record, 5 to break it in 3 games. Obviously doable.
Yep.
So hopefully he gets that. Those are the things I think we need to watch for
Yeah.
for these next 3 games.
Well, we were hoping this game with Nashville tonight would be like major playoff implications,
Yeah,
but
no.
now we're hoping to lose it, I guess. But
Yeah, I'm
still
on the
a great season for the Sharks.
Yeah, for sure.
So you want to talk Niners a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
a couple things to talk about with the Niners. Obviously, draft's coming up in 2 weeks. We'll start talking about the draft as we get closer, and we'll see what happens with the draft. But a anonymous executive came out and had talked about was pretty mean to the Niners.
I heard, yeah.
He was talking about how basically the Niners complain about all these injuries, but they sign guys or they bring guys in who have an injury history. And
Yeah.
so I want to talk about that today because I wanted to see if you agree with that or kind of get into some specifics on the guys they have brought in the past and
Yeah.
based off the injuries they've had to deal with, if that's actually an accurate statement. But
I mean, I just wonder who exactly he's referring to because, like, you look at the guys they've acquired in free agency recently. I guess Mike Evans kind of has a reputation, maybe among fans, for being injury prone. But when you actually look at his, stats, he's a pretty durable player. Aside from a season or two where he's missed some time, he's been pretty reliable. I guess they made the trade for McCaffrey, knowing that that's a notoriously injury prone player. But I don't know how much merit there really is to that. I think you got to take any comment from an anonymous executive with a grain of salt. It's like put your name behind the comment if you want to make a public comment. Who knows
yeah,
if this is some guy from an organization that like the Niners have been beating up on for the last five years and he's bitter about it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to read too far into it. There's a lot to criticize the Niners for, but I don't know if I've really seen a lot of merit to those comments. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And I was surprised when I saw Evans's like not just his stats, but just like his games played and everything. Like last year, he missed half the year, but outside of that, he's actually been
Yeah.
pretty um,
Durable,
durable.
reliable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because I guess what I look at is I would say 3 games. If you're missing 3 or more games in a year, then to me that's I would consider that a injury prone player. Like if you miss 1 or 2 games, I mean it could just be you're resting the last game of the year
Yeah.
because you there's nothing to play for. It could be a sprained ankle that needed an extra week. So I don't care if you miss a game here and there,
Yeah.
but he's been pretty durable outside of last year. Obviously, Greenlaw has dealt with injuries,
That's
so
true.
I'm assuming that's the player they were alluding to because again, we've had or not we, but Niners have had a lot of injuries to their main players, including Greenlaw, like in the Super Bowl.
True.
And you bring him back, maybe you're kind of going to end up with the same sort of
That's true.
luck, but
I mean, and a lot of the guys who they've had injuries to are homegrown guys. I know they're re-signing Greenlaw now out of free agency, but it's like Kittle's a draft pick. Warner got hurt last year; he's a draft pick. Bosa is a draft pick as well. So I think they have had their injury history, but I'm not sure how much of that is being dictated by who they're targeting in free agency.
can you look at the Niners though as itself, like whether it's their medical staff or if it's how their coaching staff likes to practice? Again, because it does seem crazy that when you look at not just last year, obviously last year was terrible with the injuries, but it's been like this for a few years now. You've had Bosa's torn 2 ACLs since he's been on the Niners.
Yeah,
Warner has his injury. Kittle tears his Achilles. You have Greenlaw tear his Achilles. Purdy has dealt with some injuries in the
yep,
past. And also another thing with Kittle, even though he had the Achilles, he had the hamstring injury at the beginning of the year. Like Kittle has dealt with things
a
in
lot
the past. This was just kind of like the final nail, like major injury.
for sure.
But he has dealt with nagging things throughout his career. Again, it could be the way I don't know if it's the way they play or the scheme, but do you think the team has some sort of responsibility for that?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's probably a combination of factors. One of them being just bad luck.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the substation
Yeah, I
across
don't
the
think
street.
so. I think that's when I heard that I was like, bro, this is such a stretch.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about their tendencies in practice or their training staff to really opine, but it's definitely something that they should be looking into because ultimately, what's held this team back for a lot of seasons recently is injuries. So I don't know what they could change protocol wise, but hopefully they can have a healthy season this year.
Yeah, and then with McCaffrey, I mean, he did have 2 injury riddled seasons in Carolina, one with the Niners a couple of years ago. So
Yeah,
I again with this team though, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it getting better because this team is getting old.
true.
Like McCaffrey's gonna be 30 going into next year. Kittle's by the time he gets back is gonna be 33 years old.
Yeah,
Like some of your main guys, Trent Williams
for
is
sure.
38 now,
Yeah,
39.
I
So I
believe
mean,
so.
like they're only getting older from here. So Mike Evans, that's another one. Again, the only I will say there is a slight risk with Mike Evans though because he just dealt with an injury this past year. I would say probably his most um, severe injury throughout his career, where he's missed the most time.
And he's getting older.
He's 32 years old, so like maybe that lingers into next year as he gets older again. So I do understand it, but to me, it was a calculated risk. I think the team had to take.
I think so too. Yeah,
Mike Evans is a really good player. He's been very steady throughout his career, and you needed some talent outside. So um, again, I think it was the movie. Like I said, the movie had to make. But they do kick off this year in Australia against the Rams.
yeah.
Kyle Shanahan's not a big fan of this move.
I saw that as well.
Do you think it's a big deal?
I mean, I can only speak as a fan, and I enjoy those international games.
Yeah.
Like I like the environment. I like the attention on the place that they're playing. They're playing in Brazil, right?
Australia.
Australia, right? I'm excited to see that. As a fan to watch for sure. But I think it's understandable from the team's perspective that they don't want to travel internationally multiple times in the same year. But I did see. So they're playing the Rams,
Yeah.
and that's the Rams home game. Like the other game that they play against the Rams this year, I think is at Levi's.
I didn't check that. I'm not sure. Probably though.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I can understand where he's coming from a little bit, but I think at some point, just kind of keep quiet and go with it.
I mean, like my thing is like first of all, I think if it's going to happen, you want it to be at the beginning of the year. Like I think it's more of an issue to not an issue, but I think it's I think it could have a negative effect on you more so if it was the week 7 or week 10, somewhere in the middle where it's disrupting the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, your starters aren't going to play the preseason. They will have played from the last time they would have played is January into that first week in Australia. I don't think it's a
No.
big deal from that perspective. I think they actually lucked out with the timing of it. And
Mhm.
plus, I mean, every team's going to have to do it at some point.
Yeah.
You know, this is obviously a bigger thing than just the NFL or just the players and the teams. This is the NFL trying to generate a larger fan base and generate more income. So
Yeah.
again, this is only going to be a longer, or this is going to be more frequently. I mean, they're adding new countries that they're going to be playing in,
Yeah.
and they're also even wanting to add more games at some point. So, again, I think, like you said, roll with the punches, and I don't think it's going to
Exactly.
have an effect on the team the rest of the way. So,
I think so too.
yeah, but do have a couple keep 3 cut 5s for you.
Okay. Sounds
So
good. Sweet.
we got 2 of them right here. Again, Danny has no idea what's coming. This is the first time he's hearing it. So the first one, we're doing keep 3 cut 5 best Bay Area moments.
Oh, sweet.
So
I like
this,
it.
So this could be a play, a game, a series.
Okay.
Could be anything. Okay.
Sounds good.
So the first one, Barry Bonds breaks the home run record.
I'm gonna cut it.
Wow. Okay. I thought we'll get through them and we'll talk about it at the end.
Maybe I was a bit young, but
I
like
thought for sure you were keeping that one.
for me, like individual accolades are different than team accolades.
Okay.
And like I want to see. I feel like there's probably some playoff moments coming here that I can keep instead, but we'll see. Maybe
Okay.
I'll regret that.
Clay 37 and a quarter.
I'll take it. I'll keep it. I know that kind of contradicts what I
Yeah.
just said, but solely because I was at that game.
That was insane.
And that was like literally the most electric live sporting event I've ever attended. It was crazy to watch him get that hot.
Yeah, I think the difference is with Bonds, you kind of at some point you knew it was happening. Whereas
Yeah.
Clay, it's like you never would expect that to ever happen in any quarter. It just like came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, so we kept one, cut one. Number 3, 1989 Battle of the Bay World Series, A's versus Giants.
It's so hard for me to say because it was like way before my time, but I think I'd have to keep it. I mean, that's like an iconic World Series between one of the great Giants teams of all time.
Yeah, the earthquake. Yeah,
the earthquake as well. So I'll keep it.
All right, so you have one keep left.
And how many? You got 2 options left. Okay.
No, we've gone through 3, so we have 5 left.
Oh
so
shit.
Keep 3, cut 5.
Okay.
So you want to keep it or cut it?
I'm still gonna keep it.
Okay. Number 4, the play Stanford versus Cal, the flea flicker.
The highlight, the replay of it is crazy. I still revisit it on YouTube sometimes. I personally, while I like the Golden Bears, while my grandpa's a Golden Bear, I don't have too much of a connection to either team, so I'll probably cut it.
All right, so we're cutting that. So we've kept 2, cut 2. Number 5, Dallas Braden perfect game.
Wow.
Purposely didn't put the Matt Cain because I know you're a big Giants fan, but Mother's Day.
Right. And his mom had passed like earlier that year. So there was some connection to his mom too that made Mother's Day especially significant.
I think she was there because he was hugging. I think she had cancer.
Oh, she had cancer.
I think because she was there though. I think.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut it, but no disrespect to Dallas Braden.
Yeah, great game, and it was crazy coming from him. That was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6, Sharks Game 7 comeback against Vegas.
That was epic. I do remember watching that. That postseason hockey is just a different level of fun to watch. You know, especially as a fan. I'm getting more into hockey now, but I'll always watch playoff hockey.
By far the best Sharks game ever.
That was great.
That was insane.
How many options do I have after this?
2.
2 left. I'm gonna cut it. I know you probably would have kept it as a Sharks fan.
No,
but
you're holding out for one. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 7, we believe Game 6 beating Dallas Mavericks.
Wow. It's like one of my earliest passionate sports memories. I remember going to school the next day all stoked on the Warriors.
I mean, it's crazy. We talk about 20 years later, and all they did was win one playoff round.
Yeah.
But that playoff round was just absolutely insane.
True. What could the last one be that you're going to say? I'll keep it.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it, yeah.
All right, you're keeping that. So we cut the Bonds home run record. We kept Clay's 37. We kept the 89 World Series. We cut the play Stanford versus Cal. We cut Dallas Braden's perfect game. We cut Sharks Game 7 comeback. We kept We Believe Game 6 being Mavs. So the last one we cut the catch Dwight Clark versus the Cowboys.
God, I would have kept that one.
Would
probably,
you
yeah.
All right,
let's
talk about it real quick. So I for one am shocked you didn't keep the Bonds. I thought that was going to be an easy keep, but I understand your logic on it because it was even though it is iconic, it was
Yeah,
a individual thing.
I do remember the call vividly. Like Bond stands alone.
Yeah. No, that was
756 for
you know
Barry
what's so
Bonds.
crazy about that? And again we were what 7, 8 at the time.
Yeah,
I
2007.
remember watching. I was watching the Giants game, and I was in my living room, and I changed the channel because they went to commercial because the Giants were coming up to bat, and I
Uh-huh.
was just like, let me put something else on, and I got sidetracked watching that for like 10 minutes. I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh shoot, maybe Bonds hit, and I turn it back, and he's literally like they're doing the ceremony. I'm like, there's no like again being 7, 8 years old. I was like, I missed it.
Yeah.
Like just that 10 minutes, I got. Oh, it was terrible, but I'll
Yeah.
always remember that.
It was against the Nationals, I think. I should remember the pitcher, but I don't.
They did an interview on it. They interviewed the pitcher.
Oh, really?
Like, no, I don't know if it was recently, but like in the last, I think, handful of years, like talking about it.
Yeah.
But I forgot his name too. He was a lefty, right?
Yeah, I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
But Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they've got other guys in the Hall of Fame that are known steroid users.
I'm gonna give you a preview. We're gonna talk more Bonds on this podcast today.
Sounds good.
Just letting you know, just for.
So what three would you have kept?
That's tough. I'm biased. I would have kept the Sharks game 7 because that was insane. If we're doing mine, I would have kept the Sharks game 7. And the We Believe. Those two were like the most iconic things that I remember from like just that stuck out to me. That's tough. I almost didn't put the Clay 37. I was gonna put the Warriors 73-9.
Yeah.
But I feel like that just was very anti like climactic.
Well, especially in hindsight now with what happened after.
100%. So I would have kept those two for sure, and I probably would have kept the home run record just because, like, when you think of, I mean, that record's gonna have to stand for a long time. I don't.
Yeah.
Do you see anyone like?
It's hard to see a guy sustaining
like anyone
that.
current that's even got a chance.
No, not really. I remember looking at this a little bit in the last couple of years, and like I determined that the one who had any sort of a chance was Junior Caminero on the Rays. He's still super unlikely to, but he's like in his early 20s. He's already had, I think, a 50 home run season. So if he were to sustain that for like 17 consecutive, something crazy. But no, I think that's going to stand for a long time.
Well, okay. Well, let me ask you this: which one has the higher chance of getting broken? Clay's 37.25 or the Barry Bonds? Because I think both of them are insane. I know Kevin Love came close, but like,
didn't Bam Adebayo have 31 in that game he had the other day?
Kevin Love had 34.
Wow.
That was in the first quarter. That was like this was when he was in Cleveland, but that was I think the closest to Clay's.
I guess I would have to say 37 is more likely to get broken.
You think?
I think so. Yeah.
Bro, he didn't miss a shot.
I know, it's crazy.
Okay, but overall, so you would have kept the catch. What would you have taken out?
Probably. It's I'm so biased towards the 37 points because I was literally there to experience it. So I would probably take out the We Believe game 6. I would keep the 89 World Series, the catch, and the 37-point quarter.
All right. So let's move on. So that was keep 3 cut 5 best moments.
Okay.
The next one we're gonna do is keep 3 cut 5 worst moments in Bay Area history.
Nice, I like it.
So I just want to make sure you got it. The 3 you're keeping are the worst of the worst.
Okay,
not like the best. Like okay, they weren't that. You're keeping the worst of the worst.
All right, I already got my worst in mind. So.
Okay, the number one is the Raiders draft Jamarcus Russell. Set the franchise back 20 years.
Yeah, true. I'm going to cut it. I think there's going to be something worse on this list.
Okay, so we're cutting that.
Yeah.
Warriors blow 3-1 lead in the finals.
Absolutely keep it. That's the one I had in mind.
That's the worst.
The most devastating sports memory that I have.
That was a gimme.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so 1-1. Number 3, Sharks get reverse swept to the LA Kings, and the LA Kings ended up winning the Stanley Cup back in 2014.
Was that the conference final too?
No, I think it wasn't the conference final. I think it was the second round, if I'm not mistaken. I know it wasn't the conference, but they won the Stanley Cup that year.
I remember that because I actually went to Game 1, and they smoked the Kings.
Dude, they smoked. Yeah, the first 3 were like not.
Yeah.
All of them were not even contests.
That was brutal, and it's one of the many like tough breaks the Sharks have had. But
fun fact: Tyler Toffoli, who's on the Sharks now, was on the Kings then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was a part of that.
I see. I guess I'll cut it. I just don't have as much of a
Yeah.
connection to the Sharks at that time, so
But there's what, like one of four teams in like the four major sports that have done that. Like
that
it
blown a 3-1 lead,
3-0 lead.
3-0 lead.
Yeah, reverse swept.
That's crazy.
There's not that many. There's like a handful.
I'm honest. I'm going to keep it. Blown a 3-0 lead to a team that eventually wins the Stanley Cup.
And on top of it, you've never won the Stanley Cup.
And that's a big rival at the time. Too,
Oh, yeah,
right?
dude, that was
that's like your
insane.
primary rival. So that's tough. I'll keep it.
Okay, number 4, the Tuck rule.
That's
Chance to
brutal.
go to
Fuck
the
Tom
Super
Brady.
Bowl.
That's tough. I guess I'm going to cut it, but just because I don't really have that strong of a memory of
Yeah,
it.
these are all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got
But
you.
I'll cut it.
Okay, number 5, A's announced the move to Vegas.
Devastating. I mean, honestly, I'm going to keep it. Like, this is a fan base losing its team, and it's like so many years.
It's your last keep. You good
How
with
many
that?
are left after this?
4.
And I've kept
Or
Sharks.
sorry, 3. Sorry, there's 3 left. If you keep this, there's 3 left, and you have no more keeps. So you would have kept. You have to keep the Warriors blow 3-1 lead. The Sharks get reverse swept.
I mean, the A's going to Vegas is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But
What do you think was worse, the Raiders or A's?
for me, it's the A's. I went to more A's games growing up, and just like the memory of like going to the Coliseum for a baseball game, and I have some family members who were big passionate A's fans, and just to see them get screwed like that was brutal.
It's also like the death of the Coliseum.
Yeah, and exactly, and that it's the second of the two teams to leave makes it a little bit more heartbreaking, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's finish them off. So we'll talk about them after.
Okay, but I'll cut it just for the sake of keeping the game going.
2002 Giants lose in the World Series. And I didn't know this. They were up 3-2 in the series, up 5-0 in the 7th inning of Game 6, blew the lead, lost in Game 7.
Yep, brutal.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
I was 3 years old at the time, but I'm sure I was devastated. I guess I'm going to cut it only for the fact that they went on to win 3 more. If they hadn't got that vindication, then maybe I wouldn't. But
all right, number 7, Clay tears ACL in the finals, Game 6, best player on the court that game.
That was 2019 against the Raptors when he then went back out to shoot the free throws.
Yeah.
That was pretty heartbreaking, but similar to the one we just did with the Giants in 2002, the fact that the Warriors got 3 before and then they got that 22 title to kind of get that vindication for Clay. I'm going to cut it, but that was very heartbreaking at the time.
Okay, so we've kept the Warriors blown 3-1 lead, and we kept the A's or the Sharks get reverse swept.
Yeah.
So you're keeping this last one, or you kept the.
Was that the last one?
No, this is the last one coming up. So this one
I'll roll the dice. Yeah,
you're keeping this one.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one you kept, Kyle Williams fumbles 2 punts in a row in the NFC Championship game to the Giants.
Honestly, I'll take it.
For the Giants going on and winning the Super Bowl.
That was heartbreaking. Kind of similar to the Kings one. You have the heartbreaking loss to a team that then goes on to win it all. But that was brutal. That's like the start of my 49ers misfortune. I remember watching that game.
That was awful.
Yeah.
That was the first year they were actually like good.
Yeah.
In like our lifetime that we remember. That was 2011. That was Harbaugh's first year, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
How many times have they lost to the team that then goes on to win the Super Bowl? I mean, obviously
Giants, Seattle,
the Rams, the Jaquiski Tartt,
the Rams, and then the 3 teams that they lost to
in the Super Bowl. It's crazy, man.
Brutal. Oh no, no, the Eagles lost that year to the Chiefs.
Oh right.
Yeah, but 6. If you include the actual winners, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now you may be wondering, how does Barry Bonds tie back into this?
Okay, let's hear it.
I wanted to tell you, because this actually upset me, Barry Bonds' World Series stats from that series.
Oh, interesting.
And I want to ask you, how much do you think that would have changed anything about his legacy? Because he never won one. But in that series, he batted 8 for 17, so almost 500, 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. He walked 13 times. His batting average was 471 with a 700 on-base percentage.
Wow. That's insane.
Did you even know that?
I knew he had a great World Series. I had never heard the stats laid out like that, though.
Now, first of all, I'm sure there is one, but that's got to be one of the best individual World Series performance. I mean, 700 on-base percentage is insane.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the best in history.
Yeah, for sure. That is crazy. I don't know. It's hard to really hold his lack of a World Series ring against him if he performed like that when he got a chance, but
he deserved one.
Yeah.
That honestly upset me. I was like, damn, he should have.
Yeah.
Could you, again, all the individual accolades, great, but to cap it off, having a World Series would have been
for
insane.
Sure. But regardless, like I said, he should be in the Hall of Fame. You got guys in the Hall of Fame like Jeff Bagwell, Mike Piazza, who use steroids. Whether or not they publicly acknowledge that they use steroids, it's almost certain that they did. So it's really like David Ortiz too.
Yeah.
And it's less so now like did they use steroids or not? It's like, did they play nice with the media or not?
Which he didn't,
He
obviously.
didn't. You know, those guys all cheated, but then they, they played the game a little bit more than Bonds, who was a notorious asshole
Yeah.
to the media. So if that just is a pretty arbitrary line to draw. It should be about if you were going to take a moral stand about steroids,
Yeah.
make it a moral stand about steroids. But once you start to gray the line there, it's like, Bond should be in, Roger Clemens should be in. Let's just let everybody in based on the merits of their careers.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, that's it for this podcast. We'll be back soon.
Yeah, sounds
Danny's
good.
gonna. When do you leave again?
I leave on Wednesday. I'll be back on the 26th. Well, just in time to talk Sharks off season. We'll talk Niners draft prospects as well.
Yeah.
Start to talk Ascension basketball.
Yeah, Ascension basketball, repping best Bay Area team around right now.
Yeah.
But
thank you guys very much for listening. Please comment, please like and subscribe.
yeah, even if you don't like it,
Yeah.
let us know so we can get better.
Yeah,
we
for
don't
sure.
mind the negative comments. Give us something.
Yeah, constructive criticism or just criticism for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.